Hi friends, it's Gwen. Welcome back to my channel. Today I want to do another aardvark reading vlog because I have 5 unread from last month and this month, and I thought I would share my reviews of these books and my reading experience with them. So starting with the ones from last month, I have 𝒍𝒊𝒏𝒌𝒔 by Jennifer Thorne. I started this one last night on Jesse's reading sprints. I made it to, the chapters are not numbered, so it's the chapter Do Not Open It on page 65. So I have that. Oh, I have my little bookmark that Summer made us when we went to Vegas. That's the bookmark I'm using. So that's in there, and I'm hoping to read more of this tonight on my Patreon reading sprints. And then I also have How to Solve Your Murder by Kristen Perrin, which I'm looking forward to. It's about a woman that was like predicted to be murdered, and she tried her whole life to figure it out before it happened, and then it did, and now her grandniece or someone like that is looking for the killer. So sorry, I don't know why. There we go. That's that one. And then last night I got my May box, and I also got 3 selections. So I picked You Know What You Did by KT, forgot how to say the author's last name. Nguyen, I think it's Nguyen, KT Nguyen. This is a Vietnamese, why am I saying that so weird? In this heart-pounding debut thriller, a first-generation Vietnamese American artist must confront nightmares past and present. And I also know it has like OCD in it, and I love the cover. So, and I've seen like a author interview, so really looking forward to that. I also got The Garden by Claire Beams, which is kind of reminding me a little bit of Delicate Condition. Let me see if I can find that. Of course I can't, when I want to compare it to for you guys. I can't compare it. Maybe I'll just pop it on the screen. I don't know. But yeah, so I got The Garden, and then I also got Happy Medium by Sarah Adler. So I've never read anything by any of these authors, so I'm very excited about all of these fun books. I'm gonna try to read as many as I can. Hopefully all 5. Hopefully. But I do have a lot going on in my personal life, so who knows. But we are going to finish 𝒍𝒊𝒏𝒌𝒔 first and share my thoughts. Once I get a little bit more into it, I didn't really have that many thoughts in the first 60-ish pages, so I'll update you about this one soon. Quick update on 𝒍𝒊𝒏𝒌𝒔. I did read some on Patreon sprints last night. I made it to page 116. Still have quite a ways to go, but I'm on Florentine Woman, and honestly, I'm kind of disappointed. Other readers have really enjoyed this. I know Ashley from Ashley's Little Library said that she really enjoyed this. I know my friend Angel, who's one of my patrons, she said she enjoyed this. Another one of my patrons, Faith, said she read it, but she was reserving her thoughts and feelings on it until after I read it. Yeah, I don't know if it's going to change. I mean, I'm not even at the 50% mark, so maybe it's going to turn around and get better. But right now, as it is, I'm just kind of bored. Some creepy things are happening. I don't know if I get scared by the typical horror things. I get more scared and terrified about real world horror. And I think that's why I like thrillers that deal with like crimes and dark themes and topics, because that's more horrifying to me than this could ever be. But you have this family that's on vacation. They're in this house, this villa, and there's like a turreted room, a turret, you know, is that what it's called? I think, a room at the top of the villa. And the caretakers said that that door's locked, don't go in there, you know, all of that. Well, they go in there, and it seems like it's a normal room, but then like weird, creepy things start happening. So yeah, that's basically it. And then you have the normal family drama of being on a family vacation with people. So yeah, I'm gonna read more of this right now. I also wanted to show off the cutest little earrings I ever did see. I got these from Wendy in my Patreon Little Bit of Sunshine exchange. But I'm gonna need to take them off because I'm gonna be wearing my headphones to listen to the audiobook. Yeah, just wanted to give you guys a quick update, do some reading, hopefully finish this one up today. Okay, that was a flower delivery. This is the arrangement that we got. It's plants. So that's what it looks like. But back to what I was saying about the books. I finished 𝒍𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒔. I'm trying to decide what to read next. I have How to Solve Your Own Murder, Happy Medium, The Garden, and You Know What You Did. And these are the newest ones that I received over here. So I'm thinking I want to try to find the audiobook for this, but I will let you know. But first, let's talk about 𝒍𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒔. Let me share my thoughts on 𝒍𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒔, or I think that's how you say it. Basically, I did not like this book. I am not the target audience for this book. I know a few people that have really enjoyed this book, have given it 5 stars. So take my review with a grain of salt and check it out from the library and see if you might enjoy it. It is part haunted house, part family drama, part, I don't know. But basically this family goes on vacation in Italy. They're staying in a house where a ghost has been trapped in the upper room. It's somehow released. And it's really about everybody blaming Anne. They bring up so much past mistakes and stuff of her. It just got on my nerves. The vacation vibes were there for a little bit, but then they went away. It felt disjointed. I didn't gain anything from the themes and messages in the book. I guess the ending was okay at best. I don't fully understand if what happened was based on like trauma, like familial trauma. I didn't find it humorous at all. It was just kind of an odd one for me. So I am reading less and less horror, and I guess it would be more creepy if you like typical paranormal, haunted houses, ghost stories, things that are not easily explainable. But that's not horrific to me. That doesn't really scare me. I'm more of a real life horror, serial killers, things like that. Those scare me way more than anything like this could. But if you get scared of things that go bump in the night, this will definitely terrify you. But it just wasn't for me. So unfortunately, I'm giving it 1 star, and we'll see what I read next. It is much later, but I am about to sit down and start the next book, How to Solve Your Own Murder by 𝒂𝒏𝒂𝒂𝒂, and I thought I would just read the little synopsis on the inside. Frances Adams always said she'd be murdered. She was right. It's 1965 and teenage Frances Adams is at an English country fair with her 2 best friends. But Frances's life takes a hairpin turn when a fortune teller makes a bone-chilling prediction. One day, Frances will be murdered. Frances spends a lifetime trying to solve a crime that hasn't happened yet, compiling dirt on every person who crosses her path in an effort to prevent her own demise. For decades, no one takes Frances seriously until that is nearly 60 years later when Frances is found murdered. In the present day, Annie Adams has been summoned to a meeting at the sprawling country estate of her wealthy and reclusive great aunt Frances. But by the time Annie arrives in the quaint English village of Castle Knoll, Frances is already dead. Annie is determined to catch the killer, but thanks to Frances's lifelong habit of digging up secrets, it seems every endearing and eccentric villager might just have a motive for her murder. Can Annie safely unravel the dark secret, or no, the dark mystery at the heart of Castle Knoll, or will dredging up the past throw her into the path of a killer? As Annie gets closer to the truth and closer to the danger, she starts to fear she might inherit her great aunt's fate instead of her fortune. And when I went to go log this into Goodreads saying that I was currently reading it, I did notice that this is the first book in a series. So we'll see what I think. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and start this and then I'll update you when I have thoughts. Hello friends. I'm not quite sure what page I'm on. I think I'm on chapter 3. Yeah, I'm on page 22 and I'm not in the mood for this at all. It's not really, it's going to be a cozy mystery series and I'm just not looking for that right now. So I'm going to go ahead and pass this along, DNF it, and pick something else to read. Okay friends, I didn't get to read anything yesterday except for the prologue, and I really enjoyed the prologue, but today I had to reread the prologue. Well, I started chapter 1 and I was like, okay, I already feel lost. Let me go back and reread the prologue and reread chapter 1. And I read to page 22, and unfortunately right now I'm not really interested in this book. I'm sure it's a great book, especially if you're looking for a new cozy mystery series. When I picked this up, I didn't really know it was going to be the start of a new cozy mystery series. I just thought it was going to be like a one and done type mystery. And I'm not looking to keep a bunch of characters straight, keep a character list. I need something that immediately sucks me in, isn't very like detail oriented and stuff like that. So I'm gonna have to pass on this one. DNF on page 22. Nothing wrong with the writing or the characters or anything like that. This is a totally me problem right now. So I am gonna move on to You Know What You Did by K.T. Wynn. This one is a thriller pick, so I'm hoping it will grip me. This heart-pounding debut thriller, a first-generation Vietnamese-American artist must confront nightmares past and present. So I'm hoping this pulls me in. I have to do some makeup, some hair. I have my mother-in-law's viewing today, so I need to get ready for that. But this is going to be the next book that we tackle. Ugh, this lighting is horrible, but I wanted to update you because I did start You Know What You Did by K.T. Wynn, and I made it 70 pages in. This honestly is probably not the best book for me to read right now because the main character's mother dies and we're not exactly sure how she died. I think that's like the point that we're trying to like figure out. But also she had a very complicated relationship with her mother, and her mother was a hoarder, and then she has OCD, so there's a lot to unpack in this story. It's also kind of like there's like stuff going on with the family, like, you know, she has a teenage daughter and they're always difficult and stuff like that. But I'm interested to see, like, I don't know where it's going, you know. But yeah, we did a cozy hobby night in my Patreon, and because of everything that I'm dealing with, I was like, guys, I still want to do the cozy hobby night, but I just want to read, and they were totally cool with it. And so I read, they were diamond painting, they were playing games, basically anything that they wanted to do. And it was just so nice to have them to chat with for a little bit, read for a little bit, because I haven't had much time to read. It was just what I needed. It's such a great community, and I'm so happy I have them. Good news, bad news, friends. The good news is that I finished You Know What You Did by KT Win. Love the cover. The bad news is I'm rating the book 2 stars, which means I thought it was okay. It was exhausting to read, and I just don't feel like I ever got my footing in the story. Very dreamlike. There was lots going on, and I just don't think there needed to be a lot going on, you know? Was the ending good? Yes. But also, did we really have to go through all of that to get to that? I don't know. The first 95 to 97% of the book felt like a family drama or a domestic thriller, but a little bit different. And it was just slow. And I don't know. I didn't vibe with it. The writing was fine. It could have built more suspense. It could have made things darker. It could have left more breadcrumbs. Maybe people have figured it out, but I feel like it was going in 100 different directions that I never knew what the central purpose or what I was supposed to be figuring out. Like, I don't know what I was supposed to be concentrating on. Maybe that was to throw me off, but I just thought it was too much. I did make some notes in my phone. So the main character has OCD, and her mother was a hoarder, but at the beginning of the novel, her mother dies. Also, there is a dog in here, and the dog also dies. There is a strange, like, mother-daughter relationship. She has a teenager, so most mother-daughter relationships are strained at this point. But I feel like it was more strained than it needed to be almost. And her daughter is like sexting her boyfriend and taking these sexy pictures, and like, I don't know, her family, like her mom, dad, and her have this like traditional birthday thing that they do, and she forgave that. Like, she was like, I don't want to do that this year. I just want to go spend the night at my friend's house. They were like, yeah, sure, that's great. Then she finds out that her friend's mom actually threw her a whole birthday party. They went to a concert, they had a birthday party, a sleepover, there were boys there, like just so much drama. Also there is a strained marriage. Like, Annie and her husband, Duncan, are struggling, maybe because of her OCD, maybe because of things that have happened in their past, maybe a combination of both, maybe the grief process, like all of these things. But it's just like constantly strained. There's cheating and infidelity. There's this old lady that Annie kind of worked for. She ends up disappearing. That's kind of like a mysterious element. So she has a psychiatrist, that there's a complete conflict of interest. And even Annie points it out to her psychiatrist and like, isn't this a conflict of interest? But like, psychiatrist isn't like on the up and up, it doesn't seem like. There's also these mini sections throughout the book, like Grace Falls, 1986. And those are like flashbacks. And then there's like Hotel. And I just didn't know what to make of them, like what the importance was. Was it to give more context? Like, so that was unnecessary. And then the one thing that really bugged me, and it bugs me in a lot of books when this happens, there's the constant, you know what you did, Annie. Remember that thing? You know what you did. And it's like, she might know, but I would like to know. And it just was constant. Like, everybody was telling her this. The daughter was telling her this. The friend was telling her this. She was saying it to herself. Her mom said this to her. Her husband said this to her. Like, it was just like this other guy had said it. Like, dude, just tell me what she did, you know? And it was all kind of like vague, like, did she actually even do anything? So that was annoying. So Now the switch at the end, all of a sudden, okay, you're reading along and then bam, something happens and it is a completely different book from that point forward. So it's kind of a 2. It started losing me, a 1, and then it got a 2 because of the ending. All right, friends, it's later. We're moving on to our next book in this aardvark reading vlog. I'm gonna give The Garden by Claire Beams a go. This is kind of reminding me of a few other motherhood books that I've read. I haven't started it yet, but just from the synopsis. So let's read the full synopsis together. In 1948, Irene Willard, who's had 5 previous miscarriages in a quest to give her beloved husband the child he desperately desires, is pregnant again. She comes to an isolated house-cum-hospital in the Berkshires, run by a husband and wife team of doctors who are pioneering a cure for her condition, and warily enlists herself in the efforts to rectify the maternal environment, both physical and psychological. While there, she discovers a long-forgotten walled garden on the spacious grounds, a place imbued with its own powers and pulls. As the doctor's plans begin to crumble, Irene and her fellow patients make a desperate bid to harness the power of the garden for themselves, and must face the incalculable risks associated with such incalculable rewards. Claire Beams' brilliant debut novel, The Illness Lesson, was called a meticulously crafted suspense tale seething with feminist fury that belongs on your shelf with your Margaret Atwood and Octavia Butler collections. The Garden, a page-turning and psychologically haunting exploration of the mysteries of the female body and the ways that it's always been controlled and corralled, showcases the gifts of one of the most powerful and original writers of our generation. Okay, so I'm assuming it's going to be a little bit historical fiction, a little bit women's rage, feminist, about motherhood and miscarriage and pregnancy. Okay. All right. I'm going to give this one a go. I honestly have the worst headache, but I wanted to work on this little idea that I had while I was in Vegas. When we were on Fremont Street, we went into a Walgreens or CVS or something like that, and I saw this tin, and it had a big piece of chocolate in it, which I didn't want, but it was just this cute little tin that says "Welcome to fabulous Las Vegas, Nevada," and I thought, I want that, because what I'm going to do is eventually print some pictures from the Vegas trip and keep them in this tin, and then anytime I want to relive that vacation, I just pull this tin out and there you go. Or also when people come over, they can be like, oh, what's in here? Oh, all your Vegas pictures. Well, not all of them. I basically just wanted the group pictures of me and the Fab Five, so I actually printed them this morning, and I wanted to get the little wallet size, but they actually print 4 separate pictures on one. But I have a bunch of them from the trip, and I'm just gonna cut them out and put them in this little tin. All right, quick update on the garden. I've been reading this afternoon. I made it to page 237. I was sprinting in my Discord, but Daniel and his brother David went to go grab Chipotle for dinner. They should be back in a few minutes. So I'm gonna pause this, even though I only have about 30 minutes left. Eat dinner, hang out. I might have a little bit more reading time here, but if not, I plan to finish it up later tonight. And then I'll let you know my full thoughts, but they're not positive. Hello friends, it's almost 10 p.m., but I just got home and I came home to my pre-order. This is gonna be the June Night Owl Book Club pick, and I'm so excited because it has sprayed edges, and it's going to be the first book that I've ever read by this author. Yay! Cool. I like how the letters are. The Last Murder at the End of the World by Stuart Turton. The letters are like cracked and shiny. I don't know if you'll be able to see that, but we love to see it. It has a map on the inside, which you can actually see. They do have pictures of it, like if you do a Google search or if you look on Amazon. It's a yellow. What is this? Black title. Okay. Yay. It's got a crack from the sprayed edges, but yeah, okay. So I have not read The 7.5 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle or The Devil in the Dark Water, but I'm very excited to give this one a go and read it with my patrons. Let's read the dedication. It's quite long. It says, to Ressa, R-E-S-A, Risa, for having a heart twice the size of anybody else's, for being funny even when you're grumpy, for listening and caring and the cups of tea, for smiling when I walk into a room, for the life that radiates out of you like sunlight, for being with me even when it's not easy. You're my best friend and the person I love most in the world. Next time you catch me looking at you and you ask me what I'm thinking, that's it. It's always that. Wow. What a dedication. Oh, so there's like a little list. It says, as requested, I have compiled a list of people whose lives or deaths will be necessary for your plan to succeed. Watch them carefully. They all have a part to play in what's coming. And it says the investigators, their families, the scientists, villagers of consequence. Interesting. And then there's a prologue. And then it says 107 hours until humanity's extinction. That's kind of scary. All right, it is time to move on to our last book of the vlog. But before we do that, let me share my thoughts on The Garden by Claire Beams. I've never read anything by this author before, but I hear she has a very distinctive writing style. It's not straightforward. It's a little lyrical. It's a little fever dream. It's a little weird, a little creepy. Gothic, horror, feminist, but very not straightforward. Like not straightforward at all. Not simple, not easily digestible, multi-layered. You really have to think. Think Mona Awad. This is the book for you if you like Mona Awad. So the writing I did not connect to at all. I did not like the writing at all. And for that reason, the plot, characters, all of that kind of, you know, I just didn't enjoy this book that much. But I liked the overall story, so I'm giving it 2 stars instead of 1 star. But it's really just about these women that are in this house/hospital trying to get through their pregnancy when they have had so many miscarriages. So we follow our main character, Irene, and then she meets Margaret and Pearl, and they're all pregnant, and they discover this garden, and there's magical things that happen in this garden. But yeah, weird, creepy things start happening, and it's like one of those books that I'm not like 100% that I understood everything, but I read it, I'm done with it, and now we can move on to the last and final book that I have on my TBR from Aardvark, and that is Happy Medium by Sarah Adler. And I'm very excited about this one. It says, a clever con artist must convince a skeptical sexy farmer of his property's resident real-life ghost if she's to save them all from a fate worse than death. So she thinks she's talking to this like elderly person, but it's actually this sexy hot guy. I do have Patreon reading sprints later tonight, but I am going to go ahead and start it today while I have a chance to. Yeah, I hope I love this one because we haven't had that much success in this vlog. Need to update my planner. I'm not bullet journaling this year. I'm actually using a planner, and it's been going really well, but I still have some spreads that I've been wanting to keep track of myself. I keep at the back, it had some like note pages, so that's where I keep my 2024 stats for reading, my social media tracker for YouTube and my podcast, and then I do my monthly wrap-up. So I started in December. Here's January's, February and March, April and May, and then I have the rest of the months just labeled. But then after that, I'm keeping track of the book boxes and book clubs that I participate in. So I have Book of the Month here. I have Aardvark Book Club. Then I have the Night Owl Book Club, which is my Patreon book club. I have the Well Read, Badly Behaved Book Club, which is my in-person book club. And then I have Sleep When I'm Dead. So I just print out these little pictures on my computer on paper, and I use like, what is this called? Permanent adhesive. It's like a roll-on permanent adhesive that I use to stick these in here. And if I have multiple books, then I do a little like flip system so you can see the multiple books. But yeah, I had to print out some and catch up on this, so that is what I'm currently working on. All right, let me show you a little flip through. So for Book of the Month, I have several that I got in January, several in February, several in March, April I skipped, May I picked The Paradise Problem. Moving on to Aardvark, I get several every single month because I work with them on my podcast. The Night Owl Book Club, like I said, this is my Patreon book club. So we have, and then there were none, No One Can Know. We had a Bring Your Own Book Month, which I host these. I don't necessarily participate in these, but they're still a lot of fun. So I had this. Then we had another Bring Your Own Book, but we had a theme, which was Backlist. Then we read this month Just for the Summer, and next month we're reading The Last Murder at the End of the World. Then in July it will be Paradise for the theme. We will pick a book here, another Bring Your Own Book, pick and then Friendship, and then Pick Again. So this will be more filled out later, but and then we have my in-person book club. I went ahead and put this month's, next month's, and even the next month's picks in there. And then for Jesse's book club, Sleep When I'm Dead, I have filled out through July as well. So yeah, that's kind of what it looks like. And I'm glad I caught up on that. Okay, you guys, I'm getting into the end of this book. I read a large portion yesterday, and I'm just really enjoying the story. Like, is it a new all-time favorite? No, not at this point. I can't make that call, but I'm just really enjoying it. The humor, the back and forth, will she, won't she, will he, won't he, like save the farm, like, I don't know, it's just save the farm, save him. I don't know, it's just so cute. I have about 45 minutes left of the audiobook. I'm on page 325, chapter 33, and I'm at my mother-in-law's to work on clearing this place out. It's going to be a process, a journey, if you will, but I am going to be doing an eventual moving vlog, but I am sharing more of the process over on my Patreon, the Night Owls. So if you're interested to see the full moving content from clearing out the house day by day, what I'm getting rid of, what I'm saving, furniture, like the whole process, like you definitely need to check me out on Patreon. It's linked down below. But for now, I'm gonna put this on pause and I'm gonna get busy for a little bit. And then after I get started, when I find a mundane task that I can work on, I'm gonna pop on my headphones and try to finish this, because this is definitely the winner of this reading vlog. I'm so happy I saved the best for last. I'm here with really good news, you guys. I just finished Happy Medium by Sarah Adler, and it really makes me want to go back and read Mrs. Nash's Ashes, which I believe was the author's debut. So I do have that on my Amazon wish list. I really did enjoy the writing. I like how it mixed humor with romance, with other things. Yeah, it was just overall a really fun, funny, cute romance. I was squealing at parts, definitely open door. I would say the spice rating is on a lower scale though for me, but that's not saying much. Yeah, I really enjoyed this one. I'm giving it 4 out of 5 stars. I don't know what's keeping me from giving it a 5 stars. Probably there were some parts that happened like towards the end. Like there was something with her dad. Like in the beginning, you hear about her relationship with her dad and how she got into the con business in the first place. And then he sends her this letter and she never opens it. And then later it's mentioned, and then later it's mentioned. And there wasn't like, I mean, there was a resolution, but it wasn't like a full resolution. So I wish something else would have happened with that. Also, her relationship with Everett, and I'm not going to necessarily like say who Everett is. I was a little upset at that a little bit towards the end. But I'm happy where it ended overall. The pacing was great. The humor was great. Yeah, 4 stars. So that is the winner of the vlog. So, wow, I don't even remember what all we read in this vlog. I think, sorry, Belle is making herself comfortable down here. But I think these are the books. that we read in this vlog. It's been a while. I've been working on this vlog for a while, and you guys will just have to forgive me right now. I'm going through a lot in my personal life, and I'm still trying to make content, which isn't always the easiest, but I love doing it. So, and I want to do it for you guys as well. So I think we started with 𝒍𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒔, which I did not like. I gave 1 star, but I think it's more of a me thing than a book thing, because I know people have really liked this. I just don't think I like this type of story. I know I don't like this type of story. Then I read You Know What You Did, and I gave this 2 stars. And then I read The Garden, which I also gave 2 stars. But if you like lyrical writing, kind of fever dreamish, dreamlike writing, then I think you'll like this more than I did. And then, of course, I finished with Happy Medium, which was a 4 star. And with that, I have completely cleared off my aardvark books. So I'm almost completely caught up with all of my book box subscription books. I just have my newest book of the month book, which I'm going to either try to squeeze in at the end of the month here, or at, I'll try to put it in the next couple of months. But yeah, that wraps up this vlog. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys are having a lovely day or night, and I'll see you guys again in another video very soon. Bye, friends.